And welcome to the box score, Murphy. I'll tell you, it's getting close to playoffs.
3 more games for most people. Some only have 2 if they've got an open date in the next 3 weeks. But this season, as they all do, it seems anymore, has just flown by.
Murphy, we're heading into week 9, and really the playoff teams, you know kind of who's going to be where as far as making the playoffs, but you don't know the seeding yet, and that's what's going to be determined. Some people still have 2 region games remaining.
I've already started filling in some brackets, you know, where the Oaklands, for example, and East Nashville and Smith County, you know, they're going to be at home, for example, but there's still a lot to be determined in these next 3 weeks.
Of course, the Owls have got to win at Jackson County in order to lock up that berth and set up a huge last week against East Nashville. And, you know, the last 2 games, Murphy, Macon County at home and East Nashville at home, should be 2 of the marquee games in the Mid-State.
Oh, I think so. Macon County's got an excellent chance to win their particular region. And with 4 teams in that particular region, all in the AP top 10, that's kind of like the SEC of high school football at 4A anyway.
Definitely is. Murphy, let's go ahead and look at the Charleston County at Gordonsville, KFC of Taco Bell, Gordonsville, and Smithville stats of the week. And Gordonsville, a big win, holding Charleston County to only 36 total yards, Murphy, in the entire game.
Yeah, I've watched a good bit of that ball game, and I was very impressed with the All-Britain kid at quarterback. He threw the ball very well, I thought, and the ground attack was well. It was, you know, they'd have probably a B+ or an A- at virtually every part of the game.
I guess the one thing that jumps out there that Stephen Jackson will not be pleased with is 10 penalties for 105 yards. You're hoping by this time of the year, Murphy, that you kind of got your penalties under wraps.
Yeah, but when you're playing Gordonsville County, it's a little bit different.
That's true. That is true.
That's just called aggressiveness, right?
You know, Gordonsville had lost several games in a row to Trousdale. Of course, Trousdale now 0-8. And Murphy, in all likelihood, eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 1987. And when you look at that, Watertown's win over Harpeth and Harpeth beating Trousdale County, that means if Trousdale County, Watertown, and Harpeth wound up in a tie, you go to overall record. Even if Trousdale County wins against Whites Creek in a region game and wins against Watertown in a region game, overall record, they're going to be out.
That's only 2, right?
Right. That's 2. And right now, Watertown already sitting there at 3-5 with a couple of games remaining. Let's go ahead and look at some individual stats from the KFC, Taco Bell of Gordonsville and Smithville. And you look, Bryson Greer, very productive night, 4 rushes, a couple of touchdowns, 67 yards. Matthew Albritton, 10 of 15 for 176 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Also another rushing score. And then Kyle Adams, 3 rushes for, or 3 receiving, 3 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. And then Jake Ferguson, when you look, Murphy, they only had 36 yards as a team. Ferguson, 29 yards rushing and an 8-yard catch. That's 37. And a lot of negative yard plays for the Jackets in Gordonsville at Turney Ford Field on Friday night.
Can you say defense? That's Coach Jackson's specialty, if you will. And obviously the defensive unit played exceptionally well against the guys from Hartsville.
Cannon County and the Tennessee Heat. Cannon County gets the win 28-19. Another huge night for Ryan Perkins. 23 rushes, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 reception for 39 yards. And Murphy, I know he was hurt back earlier in the year, wasn't at full strength, but a young man that no doubt is going to post 16, 17, 1,800 yards this year. And if they go very deep in the playoffs, good chance to get to 2,000.
He's one of those guys that I think, and I may have mentioned this a week or 2 ago, it's almost like he has another set of eyes in the side of his head. He knows where to make his cuts. He follows his blocks very well. And certainly don't want to take anything away from him, but he's had a pretty good offensive line to work behind also.
Kobe Miller, 4 of 5, 110 passing yards and a touchdown. Tucker Kine, 2 of those receptions for 52 yards and a touchdown. And then for the Tennessee Heat, which is a home school, Aiden Lutchfield is 10 rushes for 145 yards and a couple scores. Murphy, when you look, You don't know really what to expect out of a homeschool team, but still another win for Cannon County has got to build momentum for them as they're looking toward the playoffs.
Absolutely. And I found out talking with Coach Daniel that the Tennessee Heat is not just football. They've got virtually every sport you can imagine for boys and girls alike. And it's a pretty diverse schooling situation when it comes to athletics.
Watertown going down to Kingston Springs and playing Harpeth. And Murphy, we thought this would be a close game, but the Purple Tigers go down and put a whooping on Harpeth. Harpeth, I think, came in maybe 5-2. But Watertown's defense lights out. Do not give up a point.
They started the season very young, Terry, but those kids have, for the most part, played another season since August. And they're starting to gel. And if I was a coach of a team that ends up drawing Watertown in the first round, I'd be a little bit concerned because they're a better football team right now than their record indicates.
Caden West, once again, Murphy, having a big rushing game, 145 yards and a touchdown, 37 yards passing. Garner Cresswell, an interception return for a touchdown. And look at the night for Trey Pack, 4 for 4 on field goals.
Wow.
And also a couple of extra points.
Well, he scored more than half of Watertown's points, 14.
Definitely did, 14 out of the 26. For Harpeth, Hayden Penrod, 5 of 12, 25 yards and a couple of picks. But when you look, Watertown goes to Kingston Springs, not knowing, hey, we may not make the playoffs, we don't get the win, but Gavin Webster's club gets it done.
I'd say Gavin probably gave him a pretty good pep talk en route to the ball game, and obviously the kids responded well. And who knows, they may be around for a couple of weeks during the month of November. When
you look, Murphy, we'll look at the standings a little bit, but Watertown looking now that they could finish third and not fourth. A lot of people thought if Harpeth won that ball game, which could have happened, then the winner of the Watertown-Trousdale County game in week 11 would be who gets the 4th seed. But Watertown's improved that seeding. Now they'll play the number 2 from the corresponding region. If they finish out the season, as they hope, I think they get Trousdale County at Watertown in that week 11 finale.
It wasn't just at the 2A level last week either. We had a lot of upsets. Oakland lost their first game of the season. Collierville lost their first game of the season. That's 2 6A teams that everybody expects to go at least to the semifinals, and they may very well. But there were several other teams, and actually there were 10 teams across the state last weekend that only lost their second game of the season. So there's still a lot of possibilities in all the districts, or regions, excuse me.
You look at Maryville losing to Cleveland earlier, Murphy. Of course, Maryville did lose to Alcoa. When's the last time that Maryville lost 2 regular season games? I guarantee it's been a long, long, long time ago.
I would say so. But that just shows you how equal not only the lower classifications, but even the 5A and 6A teams too.
Murphy, as we wrap this segment up, and as we look, a lot of teams on buys. A lot of teams choose to do their buys later in the year to where if you've got kids that are hurt or banged up or nicked up, then they've got a chance to rest those kids.
They may not have that choice next year, though, because TSSAA is going to schedule all of the regional games. So they're going to tell every team in the state when their regional games are going to be and who they're going to be against. And that may not work out as well for some teams as it has in the past.
We'll take a look at the region scores when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works. And it's how we do business at DTC. You can count on us for internet, TV, and phone, backed by local support.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade your internet package. Enjoy internet speed that can keep up with all you do.
DTC. We're working hard to be a good neighbor.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair. And Justin Malden's always doing a great job for us behind the scenes. But Murphy, as we look at these scores, some of them are surprising, maybe the margin of victory, but still that's high school football. We've seen it at the collegiate level, we've seen it at the pro level. Expect the unexpected.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, a win is a win. Ugly or beautiful, it doesn't matter. It's a mark in the win column.
Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 1A scores brought to us by Sonic of Carthage. Clay County, a big win over Scott High School out of Huntsville, 53-7. Caverna, Kentucky wins in a squeaker over Red Boiling Springs, 38-32.
Not much of a surprise in either one of those. Scott has been struggling for a long time, and I'm not sure that they even have a win this year, maybe one.
The Highlanders from Scott High School. Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 1A standings. Still, you've got Clay County on top there at 2-0. Gordonsville still got Joe Burns. They've beaten Joe Burns. They've still got Clay County and Red Boiling left. I think they've got Red Boiling after a bye week this week. Then they've got Red Boiling. Then they go to Clay County. But, you know, we've said all year long, Murphy, that Gordonsville-Clay County game in Week 11 should be a dandy.
It's always amazing to me when we get to Week 10 and 11 and you look at what games are left. How in the world those two teams got paired together in the last week of the season, whether it's Gordonsville-Clay County or Smith County, East Nashville, or whatever the case may be, the best games have been saved for last in a lot of regions.
Definitely have. Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 2A standings. You look at East Robertson and Westmoreland, they're on a collision course, Murphy, to play for that region championship because Watertown and Harpeth, it looks like they're going to fill that number 3 and number 4 slots in that region.
Yeah, still a game short to be up with the others, our East Robertson and Westmoreland, as are Whites Creek and Trousdale County. So, yeah, it's a very top-heavy region, as a lot of them are.
Of course, there's 5 region games there, and you know East Robertson, you know, showing a little chink in the armor, I guess, against Watertown, because Watertown beat them in a controversial overtime loss, which could have thrust Watertown up to a host position at number 2, but East Robertson gets the win 12-6.
No doubt, every day of the week, that's discussed somewhere in Watertown.
I am sure. Region 4 3A scores, looking at those, Giles County over Columbia, 49-28. Whitwell over Grundy County and Huntland over Community, but Giles County, once again, seems to be the cream of the crop in that region.
I'll tell you what, not only over a 5A Columbia team, they also either beat or played very close Cleveland,
right.
A very good 6A team. So they're taking all comers and having to go, being in a small region like that, they were having to go to those higher classifications just to get a 10-game schedule.
You know, that's one thing. The Bobcats have a tremendous tradition there, Murphy.
Their stadium is one of the nicest in the state too. It's owned and managed by the city recreation department, and there are some small colleges that would like to have that as their home field. It's that nice.
hadn't been that long ago, they condemned that stadium because it got such a poor condition. But then they had a major renovation, Murphy, and like you said, it's kind of the state of the art now. It's really a nice place.
Nice place to go, especially if you can come away with a win.
Right. It's tough to go to Giles County and get a win, though. Now we'll take a look at the Region 4 3A standings. Looking on top, Sequatchie County and Giles County. Murphy, these two teams have yet to play.
Right.
But I really think Giles County, especially since they played such a tough schedule, has probably got the upper hand in that matchup.
I think so, although if you look at regional numbers, they've both scored about the same number of points. They've given up, Sequatchie's given up 31, Giles 28, so they're pretty close as far as defense goes. But the real difference there is the fact that Giles has played the much tougher schedule.
You know, when you look at Cannon, they're looking at hopefully a third place finish. When you look at that, you know, Murphy, you get to go to the number 2 team versus the number 1 team, and you know that can make a difference if you get to play the 2 seed instead of the top dog.
Yeah, I think they'd rather play Signal Mountain again or Loudon instead of Sweetwater.
Right.
Which is probably the way it's going to work out.
Let's go ahead and look at some more scores. We're looking at the Region 5 3A scores. East Nashville big over Maplewood, 43-8. Franklin Road Academy big over Stratford, 55-18.
The one surprise up there is FRA. They have been playing lights out football, and they beat who was it, BGA or Good Pasture, one of the teams that a lot of folks didn't think they would. And their coach, who was at Pope John Paul II for the last 5 or 6 years, a former Vanderbilt lineman, has really turned that FRA program around.
Let's go ahead and look at the Region 5 3A standings. East Nashville on top there at 3-0. They're 8-0 overall. Smith County sitting there at 6-1, coming off a bye week. They go to Jackson County this week. Maplewood's pretty well locked in at 3 at 2-2, but Smith County can, if they get a win in Gainsborough, can set up a big Week 11 matchup for the region crown against the East Nashville Murphy.
Yeah, the only downside to that is that one in Nashville or Carthage?
No, it's in Carthage.
Oh, okay. Well, that certainly should help Smith County a little bit. They know where the bumps in the field are, and everybody feels better when they get to dress in their own locker room and that sort of thing.
Say it would be a tremendous atmosphere in Carthage. Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 4A scores. And looking at the we'll go ahead and look at the standings first, as Macon County, Stone Memorial, DeKalb, and Upman all right there battling for those top 4 spots, Murph.
Yeah, they've all got one loss, and still a lot of football to be played. And like I was talking about earlier, it's odd how all of those teams still have to play at least 2 of the others. Actually, Macon County only has to play Cumberland County, so I think they're probably going to finish at 4-1. But Stone Memorial, for example, they've got to play DeKalb, and depending on how that game turns out, one of those teams could be tied with Macon County for first place, and then you'll have to start going to some tiebreaker issues.
Of course, Macon beat them 35-34. Stone goes for 2 there in the final quarter, doesn't get it. Macon County wins 35-34. So if Stone Memorial could win, of course, Stone Memorial beat Upperman and give them their only region loss earlier, 15-14, in a game where they went for 2 and actually got it. So, you know, that's a very balanced region, it seems like.
And the DeKalb Macon County game was a last-second field goal, too, or we were headed to overtime. So that's a very well-balanced region at the top. Some pretty good football that makes picking winners awfully tough.
Definitely does. Let's go ahead and look at some more graphics as we roll it. Region 4 4A, Macon County, as we talked about, big win in Crossville, 35-34 over Stone. And then Cumberland County, 7-0 over Livingston, and Murphy and 2 squads that have really struggled this year.
They have Cumberland County with only 1 win this year, and that's it right there.
And Livingston, I think, still winless.
0-8. They're just not hollering Hogeye loud enough.
I guess that's it. Let's look at some other scores, notable games. Cane Ridge over Overton, Clarksville Academy over Franklin Grace, CPA in the shocker of the week over Oakland, 35-14. Lebanon, a big rivalry win, 27-6 over Mount Juliet. White County over Hillsborough, and then NBA over Innsworth.
Yeah, some very, very close games and a couple of blowouts up there, but I think probably the best team on the board right there is MBA. Marty Uverard's really got his kids playing well in every game they've played this year.
Let's go ahead and look at the games that are coming up. Of course, still got teams with byes, and you'll see those also listed. But Clay County at Grundy County, I think Clay County's a big favorite.
I would say so, probably as much as they want it to be.
Region 4 2A, looking at those, Charleston County at Whites Creek. I know that game's in Nashville, but Charleston County's looking for a win. They're 0-8 right now.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier before we went on the air, and I think you or Justin Wan said that Charleston County dressed out less than 24 players.
Right.
When's the last time that happened?
I was going to say they had 20 in the game at Carthage, and then the game that everybody's been kind of circling, Murphy, for that Region 4 2A championship, East Robertson going to Sumner County to play Westmoreland.
That ought to be a dandy ball game. Both of those teams have done exceptionally well, and that's a lot of schools, regardless of class, regardless of what part of the state, have just come out of nowhere after struggling for several years. Those new coaches that were put in a couple of years ago played a lot of sophomores, and now they're very competitive.
Charleston County and Watertown's always had the upper hand, it seems, the last 6-8 years
Right.
in that region. But you looked at the two newbies on the block, East Robertson and Westmoreland, are going to play for that region championship. You look at Charleston County, probably not going to get in the playoffs. And then you've got Watertown that's probably going to finish no higher than third. So kind of a changing of the guard.
You know, the last time Westmoreland had a fairly good run of years with great football was when Jackie Kelly was coaching up there, a former Gordonsville Tiger.
Let's go ahead and look at Region 4 3A games coming up. Community at Cannon County, that'll be our Huff and Puff Trucking game of the week on DTC Sports. Sequatchie at Giles County on Thursday night, and what should determine that region championship. And then Grundy County at Clay County. I think Sequatchie County's got to take it quarter by quarter, Murphy, minute by minute, drive by drive, and try to keep that thing close.
Got to keep Giles County's offense off the field and sustain some long drives and eat up that clock as much as they can, because Giles can score from anywhere on the field at any time of the game.
Region 5 3A going over those games. Of course, Smith County going to Jackson County. Everybody else is off. And then Region 4 4A, looking at those, DeKalb County and Upland. That's a big one in Baxter. The battle of the lake, I guess you could say.
Yeah, very much so. That's going to be an interesting game, and a lot of how that game turns out will pretty much let us know who's going to be playing at home first round of the playoffs and who's got to travel.
We'll have an interview with four-time state golf champion Sophie Linder of Gordonsville when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
Opioid overdoses continue to claim lives in Tennessee. Naloxone, an opioid reversal drug, can save lives. Call the Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition for a free, quick, and confidential training. Also, if you are struggling with substance use disorder due to your alcohol and drug use, help is only a phone call away. Call the Tennessee Red Line. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Murphy Fair along with Terry Collins. We've been honored with the, by talking to the 4-time defending state champion, won it her freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, Miss Sophie Linder. Congrats, Sophie. I know it was a great accomplishment.
Yes, and thank you all for having me on here. I really appreciate that.
Sophie, when you look, you start as a freshman at Gordonsville, win the state championship, but you were no stranger to golf before then. You played competitively on what I call the junior circuit. How did that prepare you for high school?
Yeah, I started playing when I was about, I'd say 7, and I started my first tournament about 10. I've been in the junior golf world for a while, up and even till high school. And honestly, I didn't really know if I was going to play high school golf, and then I decided, I wanted to play for my school, play high school golf. So I think just playing, some of the bigger junior golf tournaments I did, I think it really prepared me mentally. I knew what I needed to do and stuff like that. So I think that really prepared me for high school.
Sophie, I think Ole Miss has been on your horizon for quite some time, but back earlier in your high school career, when did the offers start coming in, and how far into that process did it take for you to decide Oxford, Mississippi was the place you wanted to go?
Yeah, I actually started looking at college before high school. So about 7th, 8th grade year, I went on a couple of visits, and I got a couple offers my 8th grade year. But honestly, Ole Miss wasn't one of them. It was up until maybe my sophomore year when that happened. But I fell in love with Ole Miss right when I went down there. And after I went, honestly, after not very long, I knew that's where I wanted to go. So Oxford is a great place, and I'm really excited about Ole Miss.
Do you know all about Hotty Toddy?
I'm learning still. I know their song, and I'm still getting everything down.
Sophie, when you look at your career, I know that maybe golf hadn't always been that big at Gordonsville, but you've kind of put that on the map. I know Mr. Gibson, your golf coach, has helped you with that, but Sophie Linder has spent many hours chipping, putting, driving the ball, practicing when you probably didn't feel like it, either in the cold or in the hot. A lot of people don't know how much time and effort you've put in to what you've accomplished.
Yeah, it can be hard sometimes. I'm actually talking to y'all I came to practice, but I'm sitting in the car, going to go practice after this. But as this, you can miss a lot, when you're young like this. You can miss a lot of stuff, but you have to put a lot of time into it if you're going to be good at it. Like, you have to be dedicated to do it. There's some days, I get tired, but I don't want to go practice. But in order to be how good I want to be, you still have to do that.
With there not being a golf course in Smith County, is there one place in one of the border counties that you spend the majority of your time practicing?
Yeah, I remember at a place in Gallatin, which, is an hour drive, so I drive here a lot right now because I get out of school at 1. But if not, when it gets starting to get darker, I'll go to Lebanon to play. It's a little 9-hole course in Lebanon, so that's where I'll go. But most of the time, I'm in Gallatin playing.
Sophie, your mom has spent a lot of time, Miss Kaylin, with you on the road. I know that, it takes dedicated parents, and your dad, Eddie, I know has caddied for you some. Talk about the bond you have with your parents.
Yeah, my mom, she'll come with me sometimes to practice whenever she's off of work, or my dad he'll have to take off work to come with me, my tournaments and everything. So the time and dedication they have put into me, I couldn't ask for more. Like, they have put so much into me, in traveling with me to flying and driving and all that. They have put so much into me, and I couldn't be more appreciative of them. Mom would drive me every day when I couldn't drive, so that was her time off, and Dad will come home early from work and go with me sometimes. So just how much they have put into me is really amazing.
I'm sure early on, maybe in the formative years, Eddie played golf with you a whole lot. But as good as you've gotten now, is he kind of getting tired of you beating him on the links?
Yeah, he played a lot more before I started playing, but when I started playing a lot, he kind of quit. It would just come with me, to help me. So he doesn't play a lot with me anymore. He'll play every now and then, but it's mostly just coming here and practicing with me.
Sophie, how handy was it that you lived on the 7th hole at Green Hills Golf Course and was right there close enough maybe where you could practice?
Yeah, when I was little, Dad would take me out there, when it was closed, but technically we couldn't be out there. We'd still go back to number 7, and my goal would always go back to the little pond, and I would go try to hit over the pond until I finally did it. But, he knew about golf, so he would go out there and help me, and I guess I just started right there. I guess I wish it was still there, honestly. I missed that little place, and I wish it wouldn't have to close down, but I think that's where it really helped me get started, was hole 7 at Green Hills.
So there's a lot of people in Smith County that probably have a picture of me wading across that pond. I had a club slip out of my hand, and it was too expensive to just leave there, so I thought I could maybe get out there and find it, but to no avail.
Yeah.
Sophie, looking at you, I guess, and seeing you in the many different tournaments you've been on the Ryder Cup Junior Circuit, which was a tremendous accomplishment for you, not only for the state of Tennessee, but tell us a little about playing in that event.
Yeah, you have to earn so many points throughout so many tournaments throughout the year just to be able to have a chance to get on that Ryder Cup team. And I ended up making it, but we didn't get to actually play because Europe couldn't come over. It was during COVID. But we still got to play about 6 holes just for fun. We got to caddy for some celebrities during it, and then we got to watch the first day of the Ryder Cup. So that experience was amazing. Like just how they treated us, and where we had to sit and watch it. Even though we didn't get to play against Europe, that was probably one of the most fun events I've ever done, and one of my biggest accomplishments, honestly.
All right, Sophie. A lot of people don't know that you got a twin. And I don't tell many people that I have a twin for obvious reasons. But
Careful.
Talk about Luke a little bit. I know he's a senior at Smith County High School this year playing basketball. Were y'all real competitive growing up?
Oh, yeah. He played golf when he was when I first started playing, and he's actually pretty good at it, honestly, but he ended up not liking it. But then, I played basketball when I was little, so we were always really competitive going at it, and honestly, we still would be with anything we do. But I think he helped me with my competitiveness a lot throughout the years. And he's not a big golf fan, but he's still very supportive of me. He don't like to watch it, but he'll always ask how I do and everything like that. So he's been a big part of it too.
Sophie, you're one of 4 players in the history of golf in TSSAA to have won 4 straight state championships. When you think about that, what an accomplishment, thinking of all the great golfers that have come, that have gone on even to the pro level and currently are pros or maybe even retired as pros, of having that accomplishment. How much does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I actually know 2 of the people that have done it, and one of them was I played in Tennessee Junior Cup, and she was my captain. And she played at Alabama. She was all SEC. She won National Player of the Year. They won a national championship when she was there. And she went on to be a tour pro, and she's not anymore, but she was. And then Rachel Heck is at Stanford. They just won a national championship. Just to know that them 2 did that and have accomplished so much, that tells me it wasn't easy to do. And they are so good players. Maybe I'll have a chance to do that. So it's a really big accomplishment to win 4.
Sophie, I know it's a big world, and when we talk about the LPGA, getting that, I know that's got to be your ultimate goal.
It is. I used to think it wasn't, but now that I've realized that's the goal I have.
It's certainly within your reach. And Sophie, I've never met you. Terry has been around you a little bit, but I am so proud to be able to interview you, and also proud for Smith County to have a young lady with such great golfing ability. It's a real honor, and we're really proud of you, dear.
Well, thank you. I had the best community, support system I could ever ask for.
All right, Sophie, one last question. You never show any emotion. All right, the other girl makes the birdie putt on the last hole, which was a downhill 20-foot snake. You know you've got to make it. It's your senior year. You've won it 3 times. What's up with the fist pump? Were you feeling like Tiger Woods after you made that?
Honestly, I don't really know why I did it. It was just an emotion, Of course, I wanted to win it for me, but I really, really wanted to win it for my school. So I guess emotions went right through me. I just did that. I mean, I've done a little one before, but nothing like that. So.
Well, Sophie, congratulations. I know Smith County is proud. Gordonsville High School is proud, and you set the bar high for anybody that wants to come along later to try to attain that. But 4-time individual state champion in Class A and AA. Sophie wins it at Sevierville Golf Club up in the mountains, and congratulations on that feat.
Thank you, guys. Thank you again for having me on.
Okay, we'll take a look at the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week, plus get Murphy's Picks when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
What is your emergency?
I think I'm being robbed.
Sir?
These big home security guys want way too much money from me.
Let's connect you to a local company right away.
It's a crime what big national companies charge for home security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Help is on the way, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Switch now and save. Call or visit DTC Security online today.
Don't be fooled. Vaping is just another way to deliver nicotine to your lungs. Learn the facts and escape the vape. We get it. Quitting is hard, but getting help is easy. Call the Tennessee Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW for free counseling and cessation patches. Sign up for the free Tennessee Tobacco Quit line program and let us help you quit for good. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Welcome back to the box score. And Murphy, I know as we want to thank our title sponsor, Blackwell Realty and Auction, and the Josh Kirby team. I know there's some tough picks out there this week, but statewide, tell us how you did a week ago.
I was 78% last week. I fell off somewhat. I was 80% the 3 weeks before that, but those upsets like Oakland losing and Collierville losing and several other undefeated teams, it doesn't take many of those to drop you a point or two.
That's for sure, and it looked like the CPA run game just kind of bullied Oakland from the clips that I saw.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from Kevin Creasy, the head coach at Oakland, but Engel Martin is a master at football and knowing how to put his offensive attack together and that kind of thing. They've got a great staff there too. And Kevin Creasy had told me some weeks ago that he didn't have a very good football team at Oakland. He said they were just a great group of overachievers, and they've obviously been overachieving quite a bit throughout the season, and apparently didn't do very well coming from behind.
Right. Let's look at the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. It's community at Cannon County in Woodbury. If you want to tune in here at DTC 3, it'll be on Friday night, October the 14th at 6:45, and the Lions looking to grab another win.
Yeah, and I think they get one there. Community High School, by the way, is in Bedford County, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
About halfway between Murfreesboro and Shelbyville, and you turn west and I'm not real sure how far it is. It's in Unionville.
Right.
But I'm not real sure how far off the 231 that is.
It's about 12 or 13 miles from Shibble out to Unionville. Back when I was a senior, 38 years ago, we played in a Christmas tournament, stayed in Shibble at what was then Unionville High School, which is now Community High School.
There you go.
Won't charge you anything for that info. Series history, let's take a look at that. Sixth meeting in the series, Canyon County leads the all-time series 3-2. They first played back in 2015, no shutouts by either of the schools in the series. And last year was kind of a shootout over in Bedford County, just talking about Murphy, 56-30.
Well, I know the head coach over there, his son's the quarterback, and he's been in that. I think this is his third year to start, maybe fourth, but he runs the offense very well.
Schools separated just 32 miles, and when you look at points per game in the series, Murphy, we're looking at a shootout.
We could be in overtime. Yeah, more than once.
That's for sure. 35 to 28 or 35-29, depends on if you round up or round down there. But all right, Murph, let's look at some of your picks now. We're going to start with DeKalb County traveling to Baxter to play Upperman.
That's the toughest one on the board. I think either one of those teams could do very well. Upperman had dropped a couple of games during the regular season, back-to-back. DeKalb County, I think, only has a couple of losses overall. And they only have one, I'm sorry, and it was that 3-point loss to Macon County. So, even though it's being played at Upperman, I can't help but go with DeKalb on that one. I think Coach Trapp will have his kids ready. He won't have to say a whole lot to get them fired up for that one because they know everything's on the line.
The Owls traveled to Gainesboro to play Jackson County. They kind of got to keep their eyes on the prize because in order to set up for the region championship game, they got to win in Gainesboro, and both teams are coming off a bye.
Yeah, and I think Smith County wins that one easily. I saw Jackson County in a preseason scrimmage, and I saw Smith County just 2 weeks later, and there's a huge amount of difference between those two teams. Sean's done a great job over there, but I think Smith County has just got more players and a better tradition.
A couple more picks. We'll start with Community coming to Woodbury to play Canyon County.
Yeah, Canyon beat them rather well last year, but gave up a lot of points, as you said just a moment ago. And I think if the Lions play the kind of defense that they can, they should come away with a win, and that puts them in third place in the region.
Region 4-2A championship on the line in Westmoreland. East Robertson travels up there.
Well, I bet those two teams, if we were able to pull the information out, they've played each other a lot, not very far apart. Schools fairly comparable in size. Both at different times have had great tradition, great winning streaks. But I really think Westmoreland's the team to beat this year in that particular group. And I think they'll do fine.
You know, Coach Perry lost a lot of games last year, Murphy, by one score or less. And it seems like they've kind of turned that around this year, and they're winning those close games.
I think he had a lot of juniors playing last year, and those kids have grown up a whole lot in just that 1 year, and that's probably the difference in that. And I got a lot more friends in Westmoreland than I do in East Robertson, so I'm going to have to go with Westmoreland in that one.
Of course, East Robertson, in the borough capital of the world, Cross Plains, sitting right there.
There you go.
On I-65 for sure. Murphy, as we wrap up today's show, you know, things are exciting. I know we've got still a lot of teams with byes, but some very, very important region games going on this week.
All those brackets and all 9 classes will get a whole lot clearer after Friday night's games are over. We're all just kind of sitting on the edge of our seat waiting to see who's gonna win the big one, and a couple of those games will be right here on DTC TV.
It sure will. We want to thank you for watching The Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. For Murphy Fair, I'm Terry Collins, and thanks to Justin Malden as always. Good night on The Box Score.